And I finally decided to make another film review. It's been a long time, and hopefully this video doesn't get taken down by Warner Brothers because I really want to make this video. So we're going to be covering 3 of the DC movies that came out in 2023, all of which are massive flops, and I'm going to talk about them. I'm gonna give basically just, I'm just gonna give my general thoughts on the movies, like all 3. I'm gonna start with Shazam 2, and then there's The Flash, and then there's Blue Beetle. I just wanna talk about those because why not? It's fun. And I recently just watched those, and I'm gonna do this with like other movies as well, like Marvel stuff, and I don't know what other movies came out this year. Maybe I'll do one for Barbenheimer if I feel like it. And then I'll just rewatch Barbie and Oppenheimer and then like make a video on it. That would be fun. I don't know. This is a cool series that I want to continue with. But yeah, let's begin. Shazam 2: Fury of the Gods. So starting with Shazam: Fury of the Gods, basically it's about these two, well technically 3 gods who are basically locked out of their old gods who were basically locked out of their old world basically, and they were. I kind of forgot what the plot was, so I had to like search it up. There you go. Oh yeah, ancient gods arrives on Earth in search of magic, stolen from them. And I think this is the one where they were looking for the staff or something. So this is where my first problem arises, which is how like basically in the first Shazam movie, the wizard that gave Billy Batson his powers, he supposedly died, and the reason he gave those powers to him is because he wanted someone else to continue what he was doing, because he was already dying and everyone else was dead. But with this movie, we find out that he was just kind of hanging out in some ancient god's prison, which is, I don't know if that makes sense or anything. Same goes for like the staff that he had, because like they basically just merged it back together in like the start of the film, which was something that like they destroyed at the end of the first film. So it's like everything was just fixed, put back together. It's very cheap in a way. I don't know. It just didn't feel right. And another problem was the villains suck. Like, they suck. They're awful. Like, I don't care what they want. We don't get to know them. They don't have any iconic moments. They don't feel great. It's like with Justice League, you have Steppenwolf and Darkseid. Like, they were pretty cool. And I'm talking about the Snyder Cut because the one that they released in 2017 was awful. But, like, you have sort of those iconic moments. You can kind of you can kind of get like those characters shine, but in this movie none of the characters really get anything cool. Shazam doesn't even do much. I don't really like what he's been doing. I don't know, it's just nothing that interesting. I mean, there were some funny parts, but in the long run I don't really care much for what happens in the story. I don't really care about what happens to the rest of the characters. I mean, it was just dumb fun, I guess you could say. Like, there was like these cool scenes, and I guess the special effects were kind of decent. But like, did anyone really ask for a Shazam 2? Because like, I don't know, it didn't feel that special to me. It didn't feel like it added much to the rest of the story. And I feel like they could have done way more with Shazam's character. I mean, he does quite a bit in the comics. You could have added something with the Justice League, because like, he has more of a connection there. And that's sort of a problem with most of the DC stuff now, is that they're not really connected with anything. So like, if you wanted to have like a full-on universe, you should have Shazam interacting with everyone else and the other characters in that universe, because he's been kind of on his own for the whole time. So yeah, I don't know. This movie in general wasn't that great. The villains kind of sucked, and I didn't really care much about what the overarching story was, because like, it didn't feel that special, and there wasn't that many iconic moments. So I guess you could say it's kind of, it's a very mid-tier kind of DC movie for me, which I guess is something that I could say for basically all of the DC movies that came out lately after the Suicide Squad. Because like, the Suicide Squad, that was great, but then everything afterwards was kind of mid. Like, I didn't care about the plot. They had cool ideas and cool characters they could have used, but in the long run they kind of messed up the storyline. And I don't know, it felt cheap to me, and it didn't feel that well. It wasn't well produced. It didn't exactly serve the story as well as it could have been. Also, I'd like to say that in terms of the fights that they have, I guess they're decent, but like, honestly, they're not that interesting. I mean, it's just, it's just very flashy and explosions and stuff, but like, it's not that interesting, especially like the final showdown where like it's kind of just Shazam fighting a dragon inside a dome, which is like okay, I guess, but like it's not that interesting. And then like another thing is that the DC movies, they used to have like a more real grounded world. I mean, of course they have superheroes, but like you know it's not like how Marvel, they constantly make jokes, even if there's like a crazy situation. Like it's like how in Age of Ultron, they kept joking around even though the world was technically gonna be murdered by an AI, but it didn't feel like the stakes were there. It's something that the DC movies did well, wherein like you could feel the stakes because like it feels very real, and these heroes aren't just joking around. And I think with the later DC movies, they're kind of veering too much into the Marvel style, where like it's more lighthearted, which I don't mind, I guess, but like it's to the point where it doesn't feel real anymore. It doesn't feel like it's still in the same DC universe as, let's say, Man of Steel or Batman v Superman. You know what I mean? It just doesn't feel that kind of way. Like if you've seen those movies, you'll probably understand what I mean. Well, there you have it, my professional and insightful film review on Shazam 2: Fury of the Gods. I would like to thank you guys for your continued support on the channel, and I'll see you guys anytime within the week, hopefully tomorrow for my review of The Flash. I'll probably give this movie a 5 out of 10. It's dumb action. It was relatively paced decently and there were some fun scenes, but in the end it didn't really serve the story that well and it wasn't that interesting. But yeah, that's it. Thank you once again, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, I don't know, but I'm gonna make another video talking about The Flash. So that's it. See you guys.
You are killing me. I am so bored and I'm not even funny.